Hello and welcome back to Travel Market Life's monthly review. In this episode, we're going to be joined by James Clark, Claire Steiner and Will Plummer as we explore the last 6 episodes and what really had an impact on us. We're going to explore that and much, much more in this episode.
Welcome to Travel Market Life, your companion for industry insights and professional business development. Travel Market Life. Join us by webcast, video or podcast.
Oh, it's been a busy year. Can't believe we're halfway through. Claire, oh my God. 2025 has got to be the year for me. I can't believe it. Everything seems to be happening at the moment. You're busy as well.
I am. I have been very busy, yeah. Like you, I've had a couple of new clients, which is great, but I've had a really big focus and continuing focus on the work I do with Future You and all the young people and encouraging them to join this fabulous industry and some exciting plans coming up. But yes, I've been traveling around the country, also hosting events. I was in Belfast a couple of weeks ago. I'm up to Glasgow next week to do our very first Scottish event. So we've finally managed to get into all 4 nations. So yeah, lots of things going on. Very exciting.
Look at us, you and me hosting events. I was with Country House Hoteliers in Taplow. I was in Portugal, the International Hotel Tech Forum, hosting that. And coming up this month in June, I'm going to be hosting the Senior Leaders Panel at the Hotel Marketing Awards. And I'm going to be doing a fireside chat with a very, very important TV personality to do with hotels as well. And you have also been in a very special list of women leaders, right?
I have, thank you. Right, yes, I have. The Association of Women in Travel, the AWTE, are celebrating their 70th anniversary, and they named 70 women in the industry who are making an impact and are influential. And I was very proud to be one of those women, alongside some remarkable people that we all know, like the likes of Dame Irene Hayes and Jojo Mosca. So yes, it was a massive honour for me.
Excellent. Congratulations on that. Really great to hear. Well, the boys are waiting in the wings. Let's bring one of them in. Hello, Will, Mr. Plummer.
Hello, Ryan. How are you? Hi, Claire.
And how's 2025 working out? You've got some things in the burner, I understand.
Yeah, it's been good, solid year, I'd say. Enjoying myself. Business going well. Touch wood. We've got some exciting plans with the business. There's some refocus, refinement that is coming, but I'm going to tease it out because it's not being launched until September. So it's all very secret squirrel at the moment, but sort of refining what we're doing and promises to be really great. There's a lot of excitement around here and we hope it's going to bring a lot of excitement to the market. So yeah, watch this space.
Last but not least, Mr. Clark. Hello, James. How is the year going?
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all. And yeah, it's been good. I can't believe we're in May already. What's going on? The year's flying, absolutely flying. We are definitely at that point of the year, though, where you don't get much time to breathe. It feels like May and June is just like the crazy months of the industry. I think January and February, everyone's just head down, busy, working. And in May and June, it just seems like there's conferences, meetings, and yeah, it's good. Life is good. Can't complain. Really excited about our big get together we're hosting in June. We're going to bring loads of our partners together. Hopefully you guys will be there as well, on top of a rooftop, enjoying a nice glass of rosé in the sun overlooking the views of London. So that would be nice, a big partner event to look forward to. And yesterday, I was busy yesterday hosting a breakfast meeting alongside our partners, MMGY Global and Clear. So we had Mr. Cruise himself, Andy Harmer, who we've had on before, presenting with myself and Simon Moriarty from MMGY, all the latest data and trends from the cruise industry. And we hosted that at the top of the Oxo Tower. So that was good fun. But again, moving from one event to another. So it's all go at the moment.
It's madness, isn't it? There is so much going on. And it's trying to squeeze everything out before the holidays in July and August. And then quick breather before we start again in September. And we are looking at hosting our own events with Travel Market Life and our travel crew here, aren't we, guys? We've just had that conversation. So watch out on LinkedIn, look out on the newsletter, because there are going to be some exclusive invites for you to join us in a live podcast recording and being able to contribute some of your views and perhaps your expertise as well. Now, this is about travel. How are your travels going? We are pretty much halfway through the year. I've been totting up how much holiday I've taken, and I'm pretty much at capacity. And this is the first time ever that I've actually pretty much overdone it with a holiday before getting towards the end of the year. But it's been an interesting one. After a couple of years, I had a failed ski trip with a sprained ankle, and I have decided I am not snowboarding ever again. That is probably the third time in a row now that I've come back with some form of injury. But I'm very happy that we've had some bright, beautiful, sunny skies. The weather is here for spring and summer, and I've been out camping in my camper. So I've got a couple of road trips coming up. And then, obviously, to follow the big old trend of eventcationing, I am heading up to Liverpool, the home of the Beatles, for a Kylie concert. Padam, padam! I cannot wait. It's going to be with a few friends of mine. We're Airbnb on a boathouse on the little marina jetty thing that they've got there. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to my little trips this year. What have you guys got lined up? Will, how have your travels been going?
I've had a very blessed year so far, I have to be honest. So Easter, I took the family to Oman. So I used to live out there nearly 20 years ago. So brilliant to go back. It's an absolutely stunning country. And it was nice because a lot's changed, but a lot stayed the same. So I do encourage people to go there. I absolutely love that as a destination. Got a nice mix of brilliant hotels, but also exploring the interior, getting into the desert. Just, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Trip to Rome with my daughter. So I haven't got there yet since the new pope has been appointed. So we'll see what that's all about. Normal sort of pilgrimage to Spain through July. So yeah, really exciting. And then I've got a bit of a road trip seeing clients in North America later on in August. So we'll see what's happening that side of the pond these days and how friendly they're all being to each other. I'm actually doing the US, Canada, and Mexico. So that'll be a really interesting proposition. See how many walls have gone up, see what it is, see what the tariffs are like, and how friendly everyone's being to one another.
And see if you get let into the country to begin with, isn't it?
Well, that's the first challenge. But once we get past that, that's surely that'd be easy.
James, how about you? A man who goes opening of a letter. Go on.
Oh no, I've got such a bad reputation. Actually, my travels so far this year have been relatively low. I've been probably more focused on the work side and penting up that travel in me, and that's all going to be coming out very soon. So I was very fortunate to go away with my family for a few days to Edinburgh. Very fond and happy place for us as a family because my wife originates from there. So it was lovely to go up there and see some friends, and Edinburgh was glorious. It was baked in sunshine, and it just makes it a whole lot easier to get around and do stuff. So that was great. And then for me, I am off to Chicago tomorrow because I'll be working there next week for the business. So we're operating out of our Chicago office for a week. I then get back for a day or two, and then I'm down in lovely Southampton. So I'll hopefully see Claire because it's the big Clear conference. So all the cruise ships will be in. There's going to be a conference. There'll be on board tours and allowing obviously all the agents to go see the latest ships. Then I get back for a night before I travel to Greece on a family holiday. My first 7 days away from the business since I think last September or October. It's been quite a while. So yeah, really looking forward to a week in Greece. And then I'll also hopefully be bumping into Claire in Sardinia for the ITT conference at the beginning of June. So it's all go.
That's a couple of trips with Claire, isn't it, hey? Oh, you've been organising and leaving us out, me and Will out there at these holiday trips. That sounds like a bit of fun.
I can already see now Claire and I sending you both a selfie with our Aperol Spritz in hand and baking in the sunshine.
These work trips you're going on, yeah.
Very important networking, Will. You should know that.
What about you, Claire? I mean, you're always the one who sort of be jet setting everywhere. We never know where you are going to be next, if you're ever going to be in the UK, that is. So what's going on? What's been happening? Where you been?
very similar to James. I've actually not had any proper time off this year yet. So as I said, I've sort of been driving around the UK, visiting various parts for events and things. But yes, my mother has a significant birthday this year. And so we have a big family holiday this coming half term down in Cornwall with some of my uncles and aunts and cousins and their children. So all of us just enjoying, hopefully, the Cornwall fair and the Cornish sun. So fingers crossed that the weather holds. And then I'm joining James in Sardinia for the ITT conference. We've got a fantastic lineup, some really, really, really exciting speakers. Maybe, you never know, some future podcast guests we'll see or meet. And then I'm taking actually some time off straight after that with some of my friends in the industry who are also going. We've had a little villa. I'm going to just collapse for a few days and enjoy Sardinia because I've never been. So I'm very excited about that. And then later this year, the only other thing I've got really planned, well, two things. One is I have other great friends in the industry getting married. So we're off to Greece for a lovely Greek wedding. And that's at the end of September. And then actually end of November, I'm going to be in Athens for an international conference that I help host. So that'll be fun. And I'll maybe take a few days off to explore the area as well. Though I know Athens, but I love it and I haven't been there for ages. So yeah, that's me.
Wowzers, off we go. Right, great to hear. So we're going to be now taking a moment to look at what we learned and what we saw and reflecting on the episodes. 6 episodes we have done since we've last had the opportunity to do this. So let's have a quick reflect. Let's have a quick cast back, shall we? So we started off with the Trends 2025. That was us 3. We'll have a look at that again towards the end of the year. But then we had Annika Roberts from Fin Partners come and talk to us about social media trends. Ami Naru from Travelaw talked to us about the changes in employment law. Andrew Metcalf from Actors Hospitality. We had a conversation with him about the consolidation of technology and developments in that area for systems, particularly for travel and hospitality. Martin Arncock, our specialist for finances and business risk, really gave a lot to think about. And then we also had travel hacks and budgeting. For me, one of the things that my biggest takeaways, maybe because I work in marketing, maybe because, I'm there advising my clients. I'm not really one to work across the likes of Facebook and Instagram. But when Annika was talking about the algorithms and particularly as to what is visible to you in your own channel, that even if you're following someone, you're less likely to see their content, but you're going to see content that is similar to the accounts that you follow. Pretty disturbing because I have noticed that more and more and more that I'm not actually visibly seeing the Instagram accounts that I like to follow. But it's much more noticeable in Facebook, where I've actually been switched off for several years. And now I switch that on, algorithm has nothing to learn from. And so as a consequence, all I ever see is my mother's posts. Other than that, I'm getting fed a lot of news articles and sponsored content. But the area where it particularly has an impact is on LinkedIn. And I'm learning now as well that it's not about the likes, number of impressions that is going to drive that level of visibility for your posts, but it's the interaction, how you're getting those people to actually contribute through comments and sharing those posts and being able to set up those posts in a way that actually encourages collaboration and people to interact with it a lot more. So that's really made me take note a lot more of the algorithms that go on behind the scenes of some of these channels. Now, Claire, I know that there's a couple of the episodes that were particularly poignant for you, and you took something from. What were those?
Well, I mean, first I think we've been phenomenally privileged to have such fantastic speakers, right? And every single episode I've taken things away from. I mean, obviously I'm all about HR, so Ami's session was great for me just because I love listening to Ami. I think she as a lawyer, she speaks very, very well and can sort of explains what's going on, and so I always find her very engaging. But like you, I think, on the tech side, I don't work in technology, but I do have some tech clients. And, the finance and risk, we all love Martin and he's such a great speaker. All of these episodes, I learn something that I believe makes me better as an HR person because it gives me better commercial awareness and helps me understand some of the pain points and the nuances and things that my clients are dealing with. So, I've taken stuff away from it, but also like you, social media, right? Facebook, I'm a bit slightly turned off that and I'm still trying to do stuff on it. But LinkedIn, like you, for me, LinkedIn is my go-to social, thing that I do. I do it every day. I'm on there looking at it. So it made me much more conscious of how I can do better on LinkedIn. And so, I've learned a lot on every single episode. So it's been great.
It is amazing having those front row seats there of having an expert in front of you, isn't it? And being able to pick their brains and really explore that topic a lot more. And obviously, as we start to open these out to welcome some of our audience to be able to join us and be able to ask those questions, hopefully you'll be able to explore these topics in much more detail. James, I mean, there was a few that really particularly stood out to you and made you think twice.
Yeah, so I completely agree with Claire. All of them have been excellent, and I would love to see all of those guests reappear, at some point in the future to see what's changed for them and what else they can share with us. I've known Martin for a long time, so his input is always, so valuable. He's so easy to listen to. He makes finance, risk, the tour operating side at all very digestible for people to understand. So so that was really great, and I enjoyed that one. But I have to say, Andrew's session on technology was almost a jaw-dropping moment. I could have kept listening to Andrew, and anyone who's listening, please go back and listen to that podcast because he was fascinating. He really, again, similar to Martin, he made the subject very digestible. And actually, I think he got all of our attention and he kept, I think at the end we had about 3 or 4 extra questions to ask him, but we just ran out of time. So for me, Andrew's session was probably my favorite. I'm slightly biased. I also enjoyed the travel hacks and budgeting one because I am ultimately a travel deals expert, as I like to see myself, and from my role at Travel Zoo. So hearing everybody's predictions and sharing all those travel hacks and knowing what you guys also get up to when you travel and how you can make traveling a little bit easier is always more enjoyable to hear.
I mean, Andrew, that passion, isn't it? It's a passion that you saw in that. It's not just a knowledge. It's just, and the thing is, because we had front row seats, and hopefully, as you're listening, you could feel somewhat the energy, but it was intense when you were sat there because he just had a huge amount of charisma, and the energy was boiling over, and his particular passion about the topic that he was talking about. And we're seeing it, we're seeing massive consolidation in the technology market, and there is so much change and how it's impacting business and the industry as a whole that he really touched on how that was happening and the opportunities that lay ahead there. Will, is also a topic for you that you found particularly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, it's kind of wow, and how grateful we all are for the people that came on, because so far we've had some amazing guests and brilliant engagement. And I know we're going to encourage more people to step forwards and put their name forward to come and join us, but either at live show or recording, because we want to share that knowledge and we enjoy the chat. And I think that's what it was with Andrew. He was so engaging, and to James's point, I mean, it's hard enough getting me to shut up at the best of times, but just wanting to get that knowledge out of him was just brilliant. He was so engaged. I always love what Martin has to say about financial protection, the M&A market. That was great. I think me, from a business perspective, being a small business owner, some of the stuff that Amy said really resonated. And taking that away and really trying to sort of simplify it in my own business was really important, especially with the new changes that have obviously come in to sort of HR law. So, yeah, I mean, we're really blessed. People have joined us. So, and I want to listen to these episodes. You do have to fight through us going on, but hopefully we're asking the questions that you want to ask for your businesses. And trust me, we've had some brilliant, engaging guests, being prepared to share their time and their knowledge, and it's been invaluable.
Now, I mean, obviously, the Ami Naru with travel law, that looking at the employment regulation changes is pertinent. It just came into effect, really. It's affecting pretty much all of us. And over the last couple of months, it'd be great, Will, James, Claire, to know sort of like how those conversations have evolved in your own business, or Claire, when you're actually consulting with clients, because I mean, you're in the thick of it now.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much, as we heard in that episode, so much going on in the HR world at the moment in employment law, and it's going to continue over the next 2 years. So I have to keep on top of that. But and as James said, it'd be great to see people come back and to hear how things are going. And I certainly can help report on what I'm seeing and how people are starting to adopt some of these changes in advance of impending changes in employment law. So it is important. It can be a very dry subject, but as I said just now, I think Ami really helps bring it to life and makes it very digestible. And we can't, any business owner ignores this at their peril, right? So for me, having these sorts of conversations and using this platform to help spread this to our audience is really important.
James, putting these into practice now within Travel Zoo, is there anything that you've noticed as a result of that you hadn't from that conversation before?
I think there's actually there's an overlap between what Martin pointed out, as well as our HR conversation and podcast, which was around the change in NI. That did have a serious material impact on our business. And I think you'll remember Martin put some maths together to try to explain roughly what that impact would be on a small to a medium to a large size business. So, if we use Travel Zoo as an example, as a material business of around 60 UK employees. So we're relatively small in the UK, actually. But that NI change had a negative impact of over 100,000 to our payroll. So that NI, that change will cost us over 100,000 a year. So it's quite a significant impact when you think that's a business. We've got to absorb that as a business. And we're fortunate enough we can absorb it. But the smaller businesses out there, that is, a really significant impact on their P&L and their margin. And that's got to be made up somewhere. So that's probably something that was discussed in both of those podcast sessions, which I've really noticed. I'm also fortunate, and I think I spoke about this in the podcast, that we have a global HR team. We have a global legal team. So when it comes to changes that are material, that affect HR, and individuals in our business, we're actually very easy and blessed in the way that we can cascade changes quite efficiently because of the resource we have. Again, probably more to Claire's point, she works with businesses that don't have that resource, that don't have that knowledge. And that's where someone like Travelor can provide, or Claire can provide, that huge amount of help for them in that transition period.
Yeah, there's a lot more need for outsourcing, getting that specialist support in-house now, to support your team in-house now more so. So you can't get it all, and it's a great role that these consultants and these agencies really play in able to be effective with your business. At the end of the day, we all need to be focusing on what we do best and getting that support from the experts around us. Now, I mean, looking at the rest of the year, things that have cropped up that weren't necessarily expecting to crop up. Love to hear from you what you're seeing. Particularly for me, a few things. Firstly, collaborative working for me is over. What do I mean by that? Well, enterprises are doubling down on security. So no more Google collaborative documents, no more Microsoft collaborative documents. It is now moved back to digital hard files. So I'm having to work in my own platform, download files and provide them as attachments. It's adding a lot more administration, a lot more time to managing those files. But it is making sure that my clients who are enterprises are meeting their security requirements. And as part of that, we're also seeing questions over whether people can actually remote work. particularly those who have access to databases, because if you are outside of the UK and accessing a UK database, then there are potential breaches there, as are there apparently if you are working from anywhere else, and whether there should be a need for virtual private networks. So I know that's in a big discussion for a lot of enterprises. So are we at the end of remote working? And the second thing is back to the office we go. So many more people moving back to the office. And I don't think that's necessarily just being led by companies mandating this change. It's people actually willingly wanting to be in a community environment, wanting to be surrounded by other people. But in particular, in conversations with those people who run sales teams and account management teams, it's back to in-person on-site meetings in order to provide a better level of customer service. So the way of working during COVID and remotely, digitally, I don't see it's going to be so much of a sticker as we perhaps once thought it was. What are you guys seeing?
I am picking up on that bit about the remote work. I mean, I've been speaking about this a lot over the last 5 years, and I've always said that I think people will start to drift back into the office for lots of different reasons. I think actually mental health is a massive part of that, and I think people need that social side of work that you don't get when you're sitting at home. I don't think necessarily where it's still possible that you'll get 100% 5 days a week return. I think people will still want a little bit of flexibility, but how that looks and how that's monitored will change. And I think a lot of companies now are going to be doing a bit more on looking at how the performance side of it. Has performance changed because people are working from home? I think the trust of people working from home is changing, but we are absolutely seeing, particularly amongst younger people and at the early start of their careers, a shift back to wanting to be in the office because that's where they learn more effectively, just by sitting around. I think for me, though, the other thing, just picking up on what you said around the consolidation side, and I didn't mention this when we had a pre-chat, but Will, you'll love this because it's about AI. But AI is continuing. We know it is here to stay. But what I'm seeing, and I think, is that there's a need, and potentially a podcast episode in this, is around how companies are going to protect their IP due to the growing use of ChatGPT and other forms of AI, because people are putting information into those things to bring up, to create documents and things at work, and they might actually be, without realizing it, putting company information in there that then is available. So there's a lot of people are starting to think about how they protect company information and the use of AI tools to generate work, because there are some really positive uses for AI in the workplace, but we have to be, there's a caution that's now needed.
Yes, in fact, Claire, a couple of the enterprise clients that I work with, their staff are only allowed to use the approved AI tools that are embedded in their own existing technology. They can't be going out there using like ChatGPT, as you say, because of that risk that company information is therefore then available to a wider public, and that security concern there. So absolutely fascinating. That actually quite quickly since the launch of ChatGPT that we are paying attention to this, that perhaps we didn't necessarily do when the internet came around first time round, or smartphones came around. We're learning to adapt and respond quicker. Okay, James, Will, any of your thoughts, any things that you're particularly noticing?
Bringing it back to sort of travel and the travel industry, it's been a really interesting sort of first 6 months of the year. I think if you look at the geopolitical situation in the world, we've had tariffs, we've had tariff reductions, President Trump has fallen out with Canada, tried to fall out with a load of other places. There is conflict still in Ukraine. There's conflict in India, Pakistan. We've got issues in Israel again. I think, and look, I am Captain Gloom and Doom. I've been Captain Gloom and Doom for 2 years. I think it's a really interesting situation. First 6 months, all of the figures for travel and travel spend have been up, certainly in the UK, which is great. And I think if you talk to most companies, there is solid performance going on. But where's it end? And I think it's going to end because of some of these tensions, because of some of these issues. I think there'll be consolidation in the market. I think a lot of the spend is potentially hidden by sort of inflationary growth on prices. And I'd love to hear James's thought actually on, what he's seeing in terms of bums on seats, because what we're seeing is spend has gone up, but perhaps there aren't more travelers. So what does it look like into the end of the year? Overheads are going up. We spoke about NI before. Look, I'm actually not all doom and gloom, but I think there will be we're in a very different phase than we have been for the last 5 years, because there was all this post-COVID euphoria. People had money saved up, prices were good, operators were buoyant, and there's still that buoyancy there. We're in travel after all. We're in probably one of the most exciting industries in the world that makes up, 10% of sort of employment around the world. But something is going to have to change a little bit. And I think it's that consolidation, both in terms of spend, but also in terms of companies. So it's a fascinating phase going forwards. I'm not doom and gloom. I just think you'll see a significant change on things.
So from my perspective, I tend to agree with Will. And I said this earlier, maybe the more time I spend with him, the more he's zapping my positive mindset. But
so can you just say that again? You agree with me? There's a first.
I do agree with you. So there's probably two things. Let's answer Will's point first off. Yes. So the average holiday price has ultimately gone up. That's what we're seeing as a trend. We're seeing it through all the deals that we post, all the content we share. The average price has gone up, which ultimately means turnover for these business is, you could say, is potentially being masked, because if all the average holiday prices are higher and they could be selling the same amount as last year, ultimately their turnovers are higher. So it's not a true reflection. There are businesses without a doubt growing their passenger numbers, growing their atoll numbers. And there was a very good article the other day to say the overall atoll numbers total is going up across the UK, but where that's coming from. And that's the key. And that comes on to my second point. There is huge growth in the big kind of 4 or 5 businesses, tour operators that we know. So the EasyJet holidays, the Jet2 holidays, the TUI holidays, then you've got Love holidays, and you've got On the Beach holidays. Before you've even added in there the Booking.coms, the Expedias, and the other guys. But those top 5 are monsters per se when it comes to the atoll numbers, because they're churning through more and more growth, and they're taking it from a lot of the smaller tour operators. And let's only reflect back the last couple of months, and we've had Balkan Holidays and Jetline Holidays both fail. Now, Balkan Holidays is an operator that we'll all remember because it's been trading for so many years. Now, that business fails, and all you need to do is look on somewhere like Travel Weekly, and within minutes of them failing, there was a post and a release by EasyJet Holidays saying, for anyone who's had their holiday to Bulgaria affected, you can book now with EasyJet Holidays. Here's a £50 voucher. And then Jet2 did the same thing. Oh, you can have a £100 voucher. Just contact us and we'll give you £100 off your Balkan holidays. I know this sounds crude, but the body's not even cold. And you've got the 2 largest operators trying to capitalize on another business's misfortune. Now, I get it. We're in today's world where every booking counts. They've got to report back up to shareholders and investors. I get it. But that just shows you how cutthroat the market is right now. You've literally got an article saying what a shame Balkan Holidays is, and the article below it is EasyJet are so kind they're offering £50 discount to Balkan Holiday customers. So I think that consolidation is going to continue. I think we're going to see more of the smaller operators, and that's a great shame, fall away, because a lot of the niche operators offer even better experience. They've got all that tangible knowledge they can share. So I think you're going to see more of that fall away, and you're going to see only further growth coming from the big ones.
Yes, and I wonder how that will impact customer service. I was massively impacted when I was booking my ski trip because I always went through Crystal Ski, and I know that's owned by TUI, but you always often call the Crystal Ski helpline, and you'd always end up with a ski specialist. Now you're just ending up with a generic travel agent from TUI, and you're getting no level of help. It's just getting so much more generic, and it is sad that we're starting to see some of these specialists slide away. But I'm wondering if that's actually going to open up another end of the market, another area of the market where you are going to have these specialists, and you'll be more than happy to pay a bit more for those because you want to make sure you're getting the value for money. And at the end of the day, as customers, we want to make sure we're getting value for money and not always just getting the cheap deal, unless obviously it's a quick trip to Benidorm. Right. Okay. We have come to the end of our time. That was a great insight into our last 6 episodes. It was wonderful to catch up with you guys again. Now, anybody listening out there, if you've got a topic of suggestion, please do reach out to us. team@travelmarket.life is the email, or just contact us on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want to be a guest or you just want to come along to one of the events, again, we'd love to hear from you. And you can just subscribe to our newsletter on the website, www.travelmarket.life. And there is the subscription there for the newsletter. But as we are about to enjoy a bit more of the summer, jet away on our conferences, business trips and holidays, from me, Ryan, Claire, James and Will, ta-ra for now. Thank you.
For more, go to Travel Market Life. The music sensation by Zach Nelson is reproduced under license from Storyblocks. Travel Market Life is a Haynes Marcoms digital marketing agency production, serving the travel and technology industries.